Hello. Hello. Mm, Hello. Can you guys hear me? Testing.
Hello? Hello?
Please enter your access code followed by the pound or hash sign.
Hello.
To enable audio controls, please enter your audio PIN followed by the pound or hash sign.
Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me? Now, I can't hear you guys if you're speaking.
There we go.
All right.
I was hoping somebody would look at my chat.
Man, this is the most confusing crap ever.
Can you guys hear me? This is Tina.
Yes, Tina, we can hear you.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay. I dialed in via my phone. I think that's what works best with this, correct?
I heard somebody dialing from their phone and could hear it through their computer as well.
That was me.
Okay.
Oh, that was okay.
Now, how do it's recording, so how do I stop that?
There should be in your view as the presenter or organizer, there should be a button at the top where it shows audio, and then it should show a button for recording. You should be able to toggle that on or off. And then there should be also an area where you can where it shows attendees.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Damon Lester, president of NAMAD, and I wanted to welcome all of you to our convention workshop series. Today we have a special guest and also a vendor partner, Automotive Mastermind. And today this topic is going to be increasing sales and service revenue by enhancing your virtual dealership strategy, presented by Anthony Joni. I think I pronounced that right, Anthony, so don't kill me if I did. He is the regional area manager of Automotive Mastermind. Just for a housekeeping note, please make sure you hold all of your questions till the end and use the chat feature, and we'll make sure we get to all of your questions in the order that they are received. A recording of this webinar will be sent out to all of you attendees as well as the rest of the memberships later on today. So with that being said, the floor is yours, Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm take
I was
it
about to
from
say, before we get started, go ahead, Carla.
Sorry, Anthony. My bad. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm actually going to give you a little bit of a caveat before we get going. And so I just wanted to thank everyone for joining today's webinar. Mastermind is so excited to host today's edition of your NAMAD convention workshop and help to bring you an in-depth view of how you can increase your sales and service revenue by enhancing your virtual dealership. Undoubtedly a very hot topic during this challenging time. My name is Carla Nurse. I'm Director of Sales Development and accompanied here by my colleague, Anthony Joni, as Damon stated, and he'll be your presenter today. So Anthony is one of Mastermind's regional area managers supporting the Southeast Corridor and came to us about several years ago with a wealth of experience and knowledge in the auto industry. He wanted to make sure that I did share with everyone on the call today too that he's also a very energetic Pisces who loves the color blue. But all kidding aside, Anthony currently manages team members spread over several states that are in varying stages of mandate. So he understands the quick shifts and pivots that dealers have had to embark on in order to continue to keep their doors open and service their communities. So we really hope that you enjoy the tips that we share with you today. Mastermind has been a proud supporter of NAMAD for several years, which has allowed also me the privilege of attending your amazing conferences for the last few years. And we're really happy to be able to continue to lend support to this organization despite our ability to be together in person. So without further ado, I'd like to pass the podium over to Anthony as he takes you through the content, and I will gladly collect your questions at the end, and we'll address those as best we can at the end of the presentation. So, Mr. Jeremiah, the floor is now officially yours. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carla, and Damon, thank you for the warm introduction. As they said, we're very excited to discuss some of these challenges that we're having and hopefully give you a little bit more ammunition to negotiate these times, whether you're working remotely, if you're at the dealership, or if you're actually in the service drive specifically. We're very, very excited to kind of discuss some of the things that we will kind of are challenged with today. Of course, those being, we're going to discuss how to find new opportunities in the service drive specifically, and how do we kind of set up for success on that service to sales process. So how can we communicate best with those service drive clients? As Carla mentioned, I actually am Tampa, Florida, but I run anything east of Texas, kind of south of the Carolinas. So even within my own state, on the west side of the state, we've got, we're pretty much almost back to normal, if you will, as normal as you can attempt to get with masks and such. But in the southeast, from Palm Beach County all the way down to Miami, it's horrible, right? It's tough. The dealerships are closed. They're having challenges. So we really wanted to come on here and discuss, how do we kind of not only win quickly today, but also drive that long-term loyalty aspect of our business month after month, year after year. Whether you've been in the industry for 3 months or for 30 years, we know that loyalty business is kind of our hallowed ground, right? That's how we make our money and continue to fill our pot. And so, before we really get into how and why and all the science, let's kind of discuss a little bit about what's going on. There's a big elephant in the room that we're having some challenges, right? 90% of the dealers say that their profits are either projected to be down or already catastrophically down from this time last year. And that being said, only about 70% of those really had a plan or an idea or kind of thought quickly on their feet to really make it happen. What this means is 70% of people are out there selling cars, right? Where we have a plan, your competition is out there taking advantage of the marketplace, whether it's with a foolproof a sales to service plan, or if it's possibly with a BDC agent that is working remotely. We need to make sure that we have the same ammunition as they do to be as successful as they are. There's a lot of things that we can kind of discuss to go through that, but we know that the service drive has always been the most important part of the dealership, right? Whether you're the general manager trying to pay all the bills, or if you're a struggling or new salesperson trying to kind of drum up business. But we know in today's business that more traffic comes in through that area than it does through the sales drive, every day of the week. Right? Some of us drive, hundreds of ROs, sometimes thousands of ROs through our service drive, but we may only get 1 or 2 ups a day. If we look at what the national, NADA states, is that fixed ops actually generate more than half of the average U.S. auto dealer gross profit per year. Now, of course, that may be through ROs, but remember, we've got a lot of business that's TOing into sales business. So we need to really understand that the focus on what they can control is through the service drive. And now even more than ever, people aren't out there driving around, coming in, just dropping in, right? Just happen to drive by. The walk-in traffic is pretty much at an absolute dead standstill, whether you're open for business or not. But remember that opportunity doesn't just stop at your loyalty business. So even if you have a loyalty client in the service drive, that doesn't mean that you only have to speak with them, right? 1 in 3 car owners said that they serviced the vehicle somewhere else than the actual dealership that they bought. And with Mastermind, we actually have that data, right? So we're IHS Markit. You guys have heard of us, right? Polk, Carfax, Dadium, Automotive Mastermind. We actually trade publicly as INFO. So, info, right? We have the most information in the automotive industry. And what that shows us is that it finds the costs being 5 to 10 times more to convert a new customer versus retaining some of the old customers. And now, not only do I have to kind of keep my back door closed, right, so people don't leave me, but I also have to keep my front door open to kind of introduce new business. And this is kind of how we do it, is to make sure that we have to maximize the service drive on the sales side to get anybody that's coming in, whether it's a quick lube oil change or a total transmission rebuild that's going to cost them $6,000. It's imperative for us to get in front of them, whether it's virtually, with videos, with text messages, phone, voicemails, email, text, anything. Or if it's actually your dealership is open and we're trying to actually get in front of them while they're there. We need to utilize the service drives as a way to get in contact with new prospects and showcase the quality of how much we care, right? And understand the availability of your sales team and your dealership. We're here for you, no matter what, right? Making sure that they understand the vast understanding of where we are as a dealership. One big thing that I like to talk about is, I was actually having a conversation with one of our larger dealer groups in Florida, and they actually mentioned their sales weren't down in April, that they were right on par, if not maybe a little bit higher than they were in April. And I asked them, well, what do you attribute that to with all of your challenges that you had? And they said, well, previously I had salespeople that were getting people that have to come into the dealership, right? Which is half the battle, setting the appointment, getting them in the store. Then they'd spend 4 to 5 hours with them, landing them on the right car, running their credit, going for a test drive, having a copy of their driver's license, doing a TO with a manager, right? That entire process, going back and forth with the numbers, sometimes even affecting the mood or the kind of the percentage of that person closing because of whatever experience they may have had in the store. Now that's all been eliminated and we're doing everything virtually. So now we're communicating with people exactly the way that they want to be communicated with, right? We notice that chat is at an all-time high. Leads are down. Floor traffic is down. But now we're communicating, people are answering the phone because, well, they're working from home, right? I've got my dog and my wife and everybody kind of running around the house. So I've got a little more time on my hands to answer phone calls. I'm not in the office, or I might not be working at my 9-to-5 job. But more along the lines of once you hook me, I'm now virtual. I'm doing it on my own time. I don't have to get everything done over a 2 to 3 hour period and feel like I'm being rushed into a sale. What ends up happening is, the dealer mentioned, people are closing at a higher rate, getting a better experience from the process, and really love that virtual experience of purchasing. So how can we utilize that kind of information to really capitalize during a challenging time where we might not have all the tools that we normally have? The biggest thing is to make sure to own your backyard, right? When we're talking about what we're doing, you need to take full advantage of the opportunity that's waiting in your service drive. They're already there, right? So when we're looking at what we can do, we need to think of, how can you own your personal market? Maybe you're calling 400 people a day and you're leaving 375 voicemails. Well, the people that are dropping off their vehicles, the people that are going to your stores are showing up and are there personally and physically. Make sure that if you are there, that you of course, show as much of a smile as you can through a mask, right? Respect that 6 feet, social distancing space. Make sure they know that you're there to help. Don't be afraid to go over and talk with them. Don't be afraid to, kind of discuss what challenges they're having in their life. What I've noticed, and we hear this a lot in our world because everything we do is WebEx based, is we're starting to have random conversations with people we never would before. And, I was talking with a client on the phone and they said, yeah, I had a 30-minute conversation with the pharmacist about Allegra, because that's kind of the only person that I've spoken to other than my dog or my wife the past 2 months. So let's leverage that, right? Let's leverage that to kind of come to them and start developing those relationships. Show your community that you're here for them, right? Let them know what you're doing. Hey, just so you know, we sanitize everything every night. We give you your keys in Ziploc bags so nothing's ever touched. We wear masks, gloves, etc. We're limiting the amount of people in. We're, running skeleton shifts. Whatever that is on your side, if you're actually at the dealership, communicate to those people that are there so they can see how much you care. Show them that, you're taking this seriously and that this isn't a joke. Damon and I and some of the crew that were on the call beforehand were discussing that maybe some of these states and cities might be opening a little early. And some people may be a little bit, I don't want to say scared, but, may not be prepared to jump out and just say, sure, everything's fine, let's just go back to normal. So let's show them why
They should put their trust in our dealership, in our service department, and me, Anthony Jonai, as your salesperson. This is what's really going to be the difference of helping separate you from everyone else. But now that we have done the first part, right, which is communicate with them, how can we then expand that dealership, that business? And it really starts with that outreach before they come in, right? So whether it's your entire BDC is discussing your loyalty or your service to sales or possibly even your conquest business, we need to A, confirm those appointments, make sure they know we're here for them. And B, also make sure that they understand what else might be happening while they're there, right? Activate those customers who are servicing outside your dealership. What I mean by that is saying, hey, I noticed that you didn't purchase the car from here. What specific service are you looking to get done? Immediately, that person can now identify what generally that RO cost will be, and then identify what that person is actually coming in the door for. And then if they're a true conquest client, then identify really what is kind of their mode of why they came here. Do they live close? Do they work close? What's the science of them choosing my dealership to come since they didn't purchase the car here? The biggest thing is for us to identify the proper client at the right time, right? Then, as this explains, we have to communicate with them on their terms, right? On a way that makes sense for them. Remember, we're not pulling them inside and sitting them down and having them for 5 hours. We may have them for a 10-minute conversation or a 2-second voicemail. So let's make sure that we're communicating in the way that makes sense to them. And then this all leads to making sure that we're helping you guys close more business. So we need to make sure, A, start with that loyalty client, make sure that we're communicating with them, not only just the service ones, but anybody who is within 9 months of a pull ahead or their lease turn coming in. That'll allow us an opportunity to set the bait, if you will, or kind of set the foundation for a good conversation. And then really move to the presentation, right? Understanding the biggest opportunity is in the presentation. What separates me as Anthony at Anthony Chevrolet than any other Chevrolet dealership we have, especially if I'm not at the store or I'm doing it virtually, or I have a mask on and they can't see my big smile, right? We have to understand the temperature that we're in. Finally, we have to look at the entire local market. Now, those of you who have Mastermind know that we have something called the Market IQ, right? We have all sorts of data that allows us to see Carfax of where they're servicing the information, how many miles are on the car, where they are in their term, if they possibly have equity or what incentives we have. We've got all sorts of this information to kind of help equip you to have a more conversational communication with that client. But if you don't have Mastermind, then use anything and everything you can, right? Let's make sure that we're Googling our clients. Right? So those of you who know, Mastermind has it already set in, right? We have social media profiles, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at our fingerprints. Me knowing what Carla looks like or what Damon looks like gives me an opportunity to now put a name to the face to the name. Now, Damon and I actually before this have communicated a few times, but didn't know each other. So I connected with him on LinkedIn. He saw my face and says, okay, cool. That's going to be the guy that's running my presentation. Immediately, it starts to build that friendship and that trust level with your client. Make sure that if you can look at their LinkedIn or their Twitter, you can identify what makes them tick, right? If they have 5 kids, they might need a minivan instead of that convertible that they were looking for initially, right? Making sure that we understand that market really will help us unlock additional opportunities and really dig into how to use data mining and the temperature of the industry, push not only service sales, but also all loyalty sales throughout the dealership overall. When we take a big look at standalone equity mining, right? This is where we can go past the traditional aspect of equity. All of us in the industry understand that, I mean, it would be probably fair for me to say that 2% of the people that come in the door actually are in a positive equity situation in their car. And I'm taking this from, being in the industry for almost 20 years myself, but also from what I hear from my clients is nobody has equity. Right? Where they're rolling in negative equity to the new car, they're in a lease that possibly has a poor residual or a pretty high money factor, which is making it challenging for them to get out. They have high miles, they're out of warranty, the car's been in an accident. Whatever the science is, we need to see and understand that equity mining is not going to get us where we need to go. Right? We need to start looking into everything, right? An entire platform, a sales platform that gives us past that, that goes into data mining, equity mining, behavior prediction, right? And really understanding where people are. So one of three, this says 33% of new car sales are with negative equity. Realistically, right? What is that number on a day-to-day basis? Now, we know Wall Street Journal said this, but as we know through the trenches, we're challenging ourselves to find people that are saying, great, I can lower your payment. Now, recently, just recently during this challenge, we've actually had lower interest rates, right? We've got 0% for 30 years in some cases, right? 84 months, and sometimes you can maybe even recontract people and lower the payment by doing that. But outside of that, normally, it's not that easy to find a negative equity deal. So we need to really dig deep and understand that the consumers are holding on to their cars longer than ever before because there's not a reason for them to get out of it. Right? Some of the OEMs aren't giving out new technology, new equipment. And then, it's a challenging industry where, I might be changing their payment by 20%, 30%. That might not be enough to get somebody in the door. So think outside the box. Those of you who have Mastermind, use all those behavior prediction drivers that we give you. Those who don't have Mastermind, use everything at your disposal. Let's do research on our clients, whether it's through Google, whether it's through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I don't care where you find a picture of them. Try to find out as much information on them without being, overwhelming about your clients as possible. So now that we have that information, excuse me, I'm going to take one quick drink of water. Now that we have that information, how do we plot our approach? How do we leverage all these consumer insights that we have, whether through Market IQ and Mastermind or through my personal digging through all the Google and the internet to really understand my geographic location? We want to map out our customers to keep an eye on them, right? Customers that are in the market to buy a car. Now your CRM does a decent job to say, hey, follow up with Anthony, it's his birthday. Or follow up with Anthony because you're supposed to because I told you to. But let's make sure that we have a reason to follow up, right? Let's not do a cold call. Let's do a warm entrance and say, hey, Carla, you may be trying to go over your miles on your lease, or you may be out of your warranty on your vehicle. A lot of the time now, because people are with their cars at home, are leveraging this time with some possible extra revenue because they're not going out to eat. They're not planning on that vacation at Disney that they had planned for $5,000 with the 2 kids. And they're using that to repair their vehicle so that they can get back to and from their job. Let's utilize this aspect to really understand and get them out, right? Get them out of that car. Instead of repairing that timing belt or that control arm or the brakes and brake pads and tires, let's get you into a brand new car, right? Let's get you to understand how to really turn the business and move into a new vehicle. So when we look at adapting the service operations, right? The entire experience has changed in a matter of 45 days, right? The challenges that we have has changed the traditional sales cycle as a whole. Now, when we look at what that looks like, people that are in the buying market are buying faster. They're not going to nearly as many stores, right? And they're making the decision because they feel like they've already done their research. I'm going to buy a Damon's dealership because he's my guy and that's that. There's not as much back and forth or any of this because the challenge of communication isn't as readily available as it used to be. So we need to kind of use this to really have that proactive approach and make sure that we're better suited to meet the new buyer demands. Give us the one-up, right? What makes me different? If you don't have a unique selling proposition outside of price, make one, right? And guys, I hope that this is recorded, but if you haven't written anything down yet, that's something to write down. If you do not have a USP, right, a unique selling proposition, make it. Why me? Why my dealership? Why this car? Because if I'm in a Chevrolet, I have more options than ever to take my business anywhere. Everyone has 0% for 84 months. Everybody's giving me 120% on my trade. Everybody's giving me $5,000 of discount. So why am I going to you? The opportunities for dealers to adapt their approach in the service drive is exponential. The people who can master this small talk track change and this small kind of opportunity area is going to see the largest uptick in immediate growth in the business, along with extended growth once we come out of this, because you've already started planting the seeds for people that may just came in for an oil change and are getting a car in 6 months to 9 months to a year. I know all the salespeople on the car and some of the managers are saying, we only care about who's coming in the door today, right? But a smart salesperson will always have a pipeline for the future, and will always be building for the future and also take care of the now. So let's make sure that we're doing everything to kind of accelerate that business and really separate ourselves from the competition. They're already at your store. Give them the reason to buy. So now as we start to shift away from the challenges, right? The trends, buyers of shoppers have changed dramatically. Let's be respectful to that and give them what they need. Remember, I'm talking to you virtually right now, right? I actually am looking in front of my computer as I talk with you. It's a lot easier for me to go and say, how much are you giving me for my trade? And immediately pull up Kelley Blue Book or, whatever other, the Galbs if you're in the Northeast, or whatever, channel that you're using to get your trade book values, for me to get an understanding of what my book is worth. Let's be transparent, let's be honest, and let's be very, very truthful and upfront with our clients. Because now it's not, I'm looking at you face to face and I can't look at my phone. And if you catch me in a side by side, I might not be able to help. But now this is my time to really show differences of what separates me and why me over everyone else. You also got to think about what people's behaviors are, right? So the second bullet point is here. I don't know about you guys, but I have gone and exhausted every single digital video platform that's out there. I've gone through Amazon Video, I've gone through Netflix, I've gone through Hulu. This is not a joke. My wife and I watched an hour and a half of how to groom our Schnauzer through YouTube yesterday. That's where we are with our video content, right? And they want that same service, right? I want to pick a movie, I want to laugh, here it is, I want it now. I want an action movie, I want to see guns and bombs, etc. Cool, this is the movie I want to see, right? They want everything very personalized to them. Hey, Netflix says 99% match, right? From what I know you used to watch before. And they want that personalized experience more than any time before. Also, you have to be prepared for them to possibly be dealing with another dealership, with other competition. So if that's the case, let's give them that personalized customer experience that they've wanted, and maybe that I've never been able to give them before. If you think about this, I've never been able to be with one client so intimately before, because if I'm a top salesperson or a normal salesperson, I've got one person I just talked to in service, I'm doing a TO to the manager over here, I got somebody at my desk that I'm running numbers for, right? We know the business of automotive and how crazy it can be. Now I'm at home, I'm in front of my computer, let's make it personal, right? And once again, I don't want to talk too much about Mastermind, but this can be done anywhere. Through Mastermind, you actually have the ability now to send a video right through the channel, right through the deal sheet. You can send a video. Those of you who don't have Mastermind, you can send it through whatever medium you have. Now, of course, a video through a text message may be a little too intimate, but if you have any other means of use, maybe your CRM has a video ability, maybe you have an equity mining tool that gives you video chat. That is the best way to separate yourself from the competition and let them know that you are a human that is behind that computer, is behind that email or that text message that's ready to serve them. If we're doing virtual, let's maximize our virtual opportunity. Hey, Carla, thanks for stopping by the dealership. I know I missed you when you dropped your car off for service, but I actually noticed that you are in for a break in pads and et cetera, and you're discussing what their bill would be. I also noticed that you have a Toyota Camry. That's one of the best used car vehicles on the market. We would love to have that in our used car inventory. Would there be an opportunity for us to discuss you getting out of that vehicle and into another one in our inventory? We've got a great used car inventory. We also have one of the best brands in America, Chevrolet, General Motors, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, whatever you're selling, right? Toyota, Honda, you guys have a unique selling proposition for your brands. Now let's make sure that we're actually kind of narrowing it down for ourselves. So when we look about the challenges that we may have, right? And some of you may not be at your office, or you're at your office, but you're stuck behind a computer with nobody coming in. or possibly like me, you're at a home office and your mentality may be skewed, right? So these are the things we should look at, not only if you're a general manager, general sales manager, salesperson, receptionist, right? Understanding and identifying that remote service is important, right? So the first one, connectivity. Stores will need to ensure that comms are maintained between service writers, BDC personnel, technicians, making sure that we're all on the same page, right? So if you're not there and you're in an area like, let's say Tennessee, right? Or even South Florida, for instance, you know, in Miami, where you're totally closed on the sales side, but your service business is open. You may legally not be able to sell a thing, but there's nothing wrong with me leveraging a conversation with Carla, thanking her for her business, finding out what she came in for and how was her experience, starting to build that relationship. Now is the time to do it because we have the time, not when we're back at full strength. Everybody's got their their money coming back from their taxes. They've got money coming back from the pandemic. You know, who knows, because they didn't go on that that trip to Italy that they were planning. They've got all this additional revenue that they're looking to put money down on a car. We know that we're going to bounce back. How can we make sure that everything is in line? That our service writers are communicating with our sales team. That BDC understands what the ROs are, not to communicating with their sales teams. Make sure that we have the proper equipment, right? That's the biggest things. Do we need Skype? Do we need Zoom? Do we need GoToMeeting? Do we need video chat? Does my phone need to be moved to unlimited data because that's all I'm using when I'm at home? These are the things we need to make sure we have. The last thing I need is somebody to call me and tell them I need to call them after 7 o'clock because I only have free nights and weekends. Those of you who are laughing because you remember the nights and free nights and weekends, I appreciate it. If not, fair enough. But let's use the areas of communication that come with our phones, right? Whether you have an Android or an iPhone, let's attempt to FaceTime. Hey, I don't mean to seem too forward, but do you mind if we communicate through FaceTime or a video chat so I can show you a little bit about what I'm talking about? Or if you're actually at the dealership, ask for that, right? Ask for that video messaging communication that you have, whether it's through Mastermind or through a second party. Really communicate on how, hey, this is your car. I know you can't really see it because you're not here, but this is your vehicle. Now, hopefully, those of us that are forward thinking are already doing this on a day-to-day basis well before COVID came. But if you're not, now's a perfect time to start. You should be sending video messages to your people saying, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for spending the time on me on the call. Thank you for your email. And oh, here, by the way, here's your favorite song playing inside of your new car. We have to start thinking outside of the box to really harness the ways that we can understand. And as I said, lastly over here, the service and sanitation aspect of it, let's make sure to overly communicate how clean and how sanitized everything is. We wash our hands every 30 minutes. We shake hands. If we shake your hand, we're washing our hands. Our business is cleaned, twice a day or every night by a cleaning crew with proper chemicals. We're using Ziploc bags for your key fobs. Anything like that. All the contracts are through DocuSign. Whatever your proposition is, let's make sure that we're giving it to them so they feel as comfortable as possible coming in, communicating, and dealing with your dealership. It's not only going to help you get the sale, but it's also going to help you keep that business and also possibly even draw in more business on the service side. The biggest thing, guys, and this is whether you are dark or not, is don't go dark. Don't go missing. If you're in a relationship and you're trying to text back and forth with a person that you're dating and you ghost them, right? We may not have another opportunity to take that significant other out for a drink or to a movie or possibly marry them. And that's the same business in our world, right? We have to continue to be proactive, to get service notifications, hopefully through your CRM. Ramp up the CRM training if you need it. This is a great time for training. Damon hit it right on the head. We're doing virtual webinars, right? I mean, gosh, we're doing them weekly, hourly, daily. This is the time where we can fine tune and sharpen our blade, right? Steel sharpens steel. Let's communicate with the best salespeople in the business, see what they're doing. If somebody sold 20 cars last month going through these challenges, let's find out how. What are they doing that I'm not? And as we discussed multiple times so far through it, let's make sure that we're being proactive. This is not a time for lazy salespeople. You won't make it. We have to show up and knock on the door and say, hey, Carla, it's me. Want to buy something? Right? Maybe not in those exact words, but we have to be diligent and be effective. Those of us who are working from home, it's very easy for me to get lost cutting my grass or washing my car or playing FIFA or Madden or whatever it is that you guys do, watching soap operas, making dinner. Anything that we do can pull us away from our desk and really force us to not be efficient and effective. We have to be very strict and make sure that we're leveraging the tools that we have to tackle the strongest opportunity, so that we're proactive in getting in front of the people we know are going to buy and possibly push them over the edge to buy. We know people are buying cars, right? If you guys follow the SARS report, you guys follow automotive marketing, you guys follow driving sales, NAMAD, anybody that talks about these types of things, we know that people are buying cars. If they're not buying them from you, we can only blame one person, ourselves. So let's make sure we're doing everything in our power to separate ourselves from the competition, be as vocal as possible, and make sure that we're doing the things to separate ourselves from the people that might not be doing that, the people that are being reactive, the people that may have gotten dark, right? We know dealerships that are closed. Let's leverage that. Let's take their business. Now's our time to steal those additional 10, 20, 400,000 sales for us each day, each week, each month. So now we understand how we're doing it, right? But now we have to essentially change our mentality. Some of us are some of the best closers in the business. You can bring someone in here that just came in to use our bathroom or for the free popcorn and leave with a $700 payment and bought everything on the back end, right? Some of us are just that good. I'm a trainer, so therefore those who can't do teach, and here I am, right? But those of you who can do that, we actually have to have a little bit of a softer approach, right? So the first thing is we have to make sure that we understand the care of that, what our customers need, making sure that it's not going to be a hard sale. Where are we? What's your price? Let's get it done. Because it's not going to be the price in most parts that's going to separate us today, because they're not shopping as often as we said. NADA states that people are going to 2/3 less dealerships over the last 45 days than they did before. Mainly because they're actually not going, right? But maybe they saw your ad, maybe they purchased a vehicle from you, maybe they serviced with you, and that's the people that we're getting. So it's very important for us to stay in front of it. Let's make sure that we're communicating with those discounts that we have, right? The first responders, the medical field, the pickup and delivery services. Make sure that we're communicating those aspects of it. And make sure that everybody at the store understands that COVID-19 talk track. Now, in my opinion, I think that you can kind of overplay it. Hey, we care about your company, your safeness. We hope that you're being safe. We're with you and all these different things. Everybody's saying that. I agree. It's necessary, but let's also give them additional talk tracks that are specific to, hey, now that your car's not moving, have you thought about bringing it in for service? Or now that you're paying a payment that is in your car, you're sitting there for a few months, have you thought about changing your car in for a new one so that you can look at a nicer car, or possibly even lower your payment, get you into a new vehicle? Those are going to be the things that are going to help you separate yourselves from the competition. Now, I'm a huge fan of scripts, but I'm also a huge fan of me being me, right? So for instance, for this call, I have a guideline, right? I have bullet points of things that I want to hit. I'm definitely not reading it verbatim off the slides and just saying, hey, this is what my slide says, so thanks for joining. And you shouldn't be the same. We don't ever want anybody to read it specifically, but for the first 500 times, right? Read it verbatim until you learn it, understand it, can speak it to your sleep, and make sure that it sounds custom. Make sure that it sounds genuine. The last thing you want, and you guys have all heard it, you may have even done it. I get voicemails from the people that I bought my car from. Oh, Anthony, this is John from this dealership Chevrolet. I have recently understood that you're coming in on your miles. Please give me a call. Would love to help you. Thank you. My phone number. Goodbye. There is nothing that wants me to even call them back. As a matter of fact, as somebody in the industry, I'm actually going to call that dealership and say, hey, what are you doing? Right? Let's be custom. But with these specific scripts, let's make sure that we're talking about, to best help you during these times, we're offering a pickup and drop off from your home, office, or from anywhere. We'll meet you anywhere to make you feel comfortable. This will come at no additional charge. We can provide you a loaner vehicle, right? Any of this information. With that being said, when would you like to schedule this vehicle pickup? When would you like to schedule your test drive? When would you like to schedule your next service, visit? We're here for your service needs. Right now, of course, I've read this 3 or 4 times and kind of gave it my own spin, but this will be here. We're going to give you the information. This is recorded if you want to come back to it. But the most important part is make it your own. Make sure they understand that you're a human being. You have a family too. You have a daughter that plays soccer. You have a son that plays piano, that you're willing to do the same things to earn their business and that you need that money, right? You want that sale. That's the most important part. When we look at the predictive aspect of it, right? Those of you guys who know Mastermind know that we live off of behavioral analytics and predictive marketing. But when we look at the difference between that, you actually kind of need a little bit of both of them to really separate yourself, right? 62% of consumers who respond to a direct mail campaign make a purchase within 3 months. That is a hot lead. Let's focus on those, right? Let's check that system. If you've got Mastermind, you can filter by people that have viewed their campaign. If you've got a CRM or you have people that have responded to their emails from whatever email blast campaign that you did, let's leverage that and said, hey, Carla, hey, Damon, notice that you had expressed interest. What's holding you back? What can I do to earn your business? I know this is a challenging time. Let me explain to you what we're doing to make it easier for you to buy a car. This next one is bananas, right? Nearly 80% of consumers are more likely to do business with a company that offers a personalized experience. A personalized experience. We have people in Louisiana. Sorry, I kind of forgot where New Orleans was. We have people in Louisiana, dealerships in Louisiana, that will meet people at the mall. Mind you, malls are closed. Everything's closed. They videotape themselves in the car with masks and gloves. They leave the car in park and leave the keys in the car and stay there in another vehicle and say, we will follow you around in our car so you can test drive the car. Now that's a tailored experience. That's a personalized experience. Not, hello, insert person named here. What are you doing, right? How can I help? That's great, and I think that's a great starting point, but let's actually build off of that and continue to say, hey, I've got all these talk tracks built in. Let's make it custom. What makes me separate? What makes me different? People know that now that I have a lot of time on my hands, excuse me, with Zoom, I have different backgrounds, right? So I've got a Simpsons background. Those of you who watch Stranger Things, I've got 2 or 3 Stranger Things backgrounds. I did a May the 4th background. I did a Cinco de Mayo background, all just to get some sort of reaction from people, right? These are challenging times. People are nervous. Their unemployment rate is through the roof. We have challenging situations. Let's make sure to use the leverage, the time, and the care that we have to really give that personalized view, that personalized focus. So now, what do customers care about, right? What do we look at when we're looking at the true customer care? We need to drive focus on breaking down the barriers, right? Let's discuss all of the communication that's out there. We disinfect all the vehicles and our loaners after each use, right? Let's make sure that they understand that. Excuse me, I've got all my windows closed, so my throat's a little dry. Once again, we use virus protection care elements such as steering wheel covers, floor seats, and mats. We put the fiberglass, or not the fiberglass, the glass blocker up so that you don't see us face to face, right? Let's make sure that we're communicating in the ways that they like, the ways that they see, so that they can maximize what they're looking at. Here's actually a way that the customer experience online kind of doesn't change versus in store. Make it easier for your customers to connect with you based off of their preferences, right? We talked about this. Identify the proper client. Now that we've identified them, we have to communicate with them on their terms. This is the perfect way, right? Welcome to our virtual assistant. Fill out the prompt below to see where we can direct you and correct location to our site. You want pre-owned, you want new, you want a trade estimate. Let's find out what you're looking for so that we can better help you understand where we're going to be. And then let's eliminate anything that we know is going to be a problem. If we know they're going to ask about masks, if they're going to ask about cleanliness, if they're going to ask about delivery services, or if I lost my job and I don't have a W-2, whatever it is, let's discuss pay plans, personnel, accountability on our side, dealer facing, but also to the customer. Let's also communicate what may be preventing them from buying a car today. If they haven't been furloughed or laid off, that means they have a job. Those of us who have been furloughed have been noticed that people are starting to come back, right? I mean, things are opening up. We just started opening up movie theaters and salons and bowling alleys here in Florida. And slowly but surely we got beaches that are open. So, we're slowly kind of ramping up into what we're attempting to be a normal society. Let's make sure that we're communicating all of those challenges to make sure that we're maximizing our opportunity and our potential. Now that we have the sales aspect, let's discuss that service to sales cycle and make sure that no matter what is our challenge that we have, whether it's COVID, whether it's unemployment, whether it's people aren't coming in the door, that we're not stopping people from coming into our service drive. Because no matter what, if we get people in the service, organically, they're gonna come into sales. And it's a numbers game, right? 74% of customers that return to their selling dealer for service purchases, they purchase their next vehicle from that same dealer. We call that defect, right? Those of us who understand that terminology of defect rate. We want to maintain, right? Keep that back door closed, keep the front door open. Maintain what we currently have and continue to bring in new business, that service to conquest business. So even if you're a salesperson, the smartest thing you could do is identify somebody that has a 45,000 miles in their car and hasn't been in a service for a year. Hey, Carla, notice that you have 45,000 miles on your car. Have you done your 45K service? This includes this, that, and this. Would love to have an opportunity to set you up for that. This normally runs around this. Not only are you going to be showing yourself as a leader at the dealership, helping them in any way possible, right? On the service side, on the parts side, on the loyalty side, but also on the conquest. Excuse me, on the conquest side. But this is what's really going to help us have that conversation and bring that person that came in for that 45,000 mile service to now move over. Because we know, hey, if you're a 3-year 36, I know you're out of warranty, right? Or you have a 4-year 50, maybe you have a luxury car like a Mercedes-Benz or an Audi, then you're really close to going out, and now's a perfect time for me to talk with you. Apologies, did one last drink of water. So we covered a lot today. And, we have information here. You're going to have Carla's information. You're going to have my personal email address. I'm here to help you. Whether you have Mastermind or not, I want every single person that's part of NAMAD to crush it and move metal and be able to change the game and not go down, not have their revenue go down, not have their sales go down, not have anything change. But we spoke about how to discover the opportunity presented to us, right? How to identify what that true service to sales customer is, what that true conquest customer is. And then also how to set up those sales to service processes, right? Unique selling proposition. Make sure you write that down. Make yourself a bullet point, 2 to 3 bullet points of why me, why the dealership, and why this vehicle, right? Why are they coming to me? There's a Toyota dealership down the street. There's 5 Chevy dealerships within 10 square miles of my house. Why am I going to Carla? And make sure that we're helping that environmental conversation happen, right? That service to sales process needs to focus on the customers that we currently have, whether they're service to sales conquest or they're actual true loyalty customers that are coming in for service. The last aspect of it, this is the time for us to separate ourselves from the average. Guys, if you're average, make yourself above average. Separate yourself from the lazy people or the people that unfortunately can't even sell cars, or the people that are closed because their dealership didn't want to open. Or maybe you're one of the dealerships that is closed, but your service drive is open. Let's not stop communicating with our clients. Let's not stop using tools like Mastermind, Performance IQ, Market IQ, video messaging, and everything that's out there for your capabilities to have you be the best salesperson you can be, both remotely at the dealership or face-to-face at the service drive. So before I open it up to questions, I'm going to kick it off to my co-host, Carla, to briefly discuss a few things.
Thank you, Anthony. We really appreciate you taking us through that pretty informative journey on things that we can do. And the areas we covered today, you know, can be solved by utilizing a platform like Market IQ that's offered by Mastermind, which is a powerful engagement platform. And I know that we have a few partners that might be on the line today. I'm wondering if one Perry Watson might be among them. I wanted to kind of pick on somebody today, if possible, but I'm not sure if he's out there. Damon, do you have an idea if Perry joined us today?
I saw him on. I'm looking to see if he's still on now. One sec.
The reason why I pick on Perry, as you know, everyone knows Perry very well, but he utilizes Mastermind today at Lexus of Mishawaka, and he has not been too short on, you know, testimonies or great words on how we've helped him stay afloat and leverage some of the information we provide for him at his dealership. And wondered if he had a couple of words. If he's not there, we'll press on.
Yeah, I will go ahead and move on. And Perry the fourth is on, but I'm trying to reach him now.
Yeah. All right, no worries. So right now, if you are interested in additional information on how to utilize Mastermind's platform, or for your own personal VIP demo, virtual demo, of course, on Mastermind, we are offering now through May 31st 2 free months with your subscription of Mastermind, completely free for the first 2 months. This is the first time we've been able to offer a package like this, and we're really happy to be able to do this at a time like this, where we know that needs and tools are in high demand for utilization, and that dealerships need help. So we would love to assist you in your dealership if you feel the need. Please feel free to reach out to me directly. My email address is below, and we'll be sure to share that with you later on, mine as well as Anthony's, and we'll make sure and get a member of our team connected with you and help you get the information that you require, or more details about this very special offer through the end of this month. And Anthony, if you wouldn't mind going to the next page. And also, if you are a current Mastermind customer or not, we have free resources that are available on our website today. So since COVID broke out, we've done nothing short that work harder than we can to try to deliver as much content and information. You probably still have some more questions left over from today's robust content, or you have questions that are completely related to a different area of the industry. So please feel free to take a look at our website and enjoy this free resource page that can give you tips and information on several different aspects or areas of working virtually from a dealership today. We know this is very new and very different for a lot of us.
Perry on now. Sorry, Carla.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, Perry. Yes, we can hear you. How are you today?
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, technology. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. So I guess I'd just like to say a couple of words about Mastermind. You know, they've been a great partner of ours since this COVID-19 thing has kicked off. Man, I can't name the ways. Our number one sales consultant is in the high risk group. He's an older gentleman, and we consulted with him early on and said, hey, you know, what would you like to do? And so he decided that he wanted to work from home. So we were able to actually work with Mastermind to get him access so that he could still work his customer base. And he was able to help us sell a few cars last month. They also worked with me to put in specific COVID-19 information into our marketing letters that were going out to customers. We just felt like you had to address the safety issue first before you could get into the offers. And so I know they normally don't like to adjust the letters per se, but they understand the severity of what we're dealing with. And also, it's been a great way for us to set appointments for customers that were coming in for service. It's just a great program. And I think it was mentioned earlier, because they own Carfax and they also own IHS Automotive, you just get an entire picture of what's going on with the customer. And so I just wanted to, it's very rare that I give my endorsement to a product. But since Carla did pay me, I guess I could let you guys, I'm just kidding. There was no money exchange. But it has been a great tool for us. And every month I can tell you that because of the tool, we've sold cars. And so as you all know, I brought them in to the NAMAD Next Gen conference last year. So I would really encourage you to take a look at their product at a bare minimum. And that's all I'll say.
Well, Perry, thank you. And thank you for allowing me to put you on the spot. And I'll share with you my Venmo account later. So I can send you that cash right on over. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our time here. If there are any questions that might be out there, we'll be happy to field through those. Damon, I don't know if you see any questions.
Nothing yet.
Okay, if not, I have one or two for Anthony as well. So, Anthony, can you give me an idea of how you see the industry changing after this pandemic? How dealers will have to now change how they transact, and how can they be ready?
Yeah, great question. So two-part question. The first part, of course, how dealers will transact. Everything's going to change, right? We don't see an end to this until we have a cure, if you will, or what is it called when you take that shot? My brain is going dark, but this is going to be our future here for probably till the end of the year, right? In one way or another, whether it's going to be just wear masks and going full blown, or maybe a little bit back to normal, but still people a little bit more hesitant. We have to make sure that we're laser focused and sharp in our follow-up and making sure that we are ready to sell that car digitally. We hope in the SAR report states that we're going to get back to normal, right? We're going to kind of bounce back. But what does that normal look like? We don't know. What we do know is that the more we can be prepared today virtually for that online sale, the better it's going to be. And the second part of that question on the transactional aspect, making sure that once we get back to work, still respect, understand, and communicate the differences and challenges that really we faced, right? So whether it's, hey, we have DocuPad, or we're sending the contracts through email, or anything along those lines. I think that's really going to help us on the transactional side with communication. I promise you, those of you who are doing the behaviors that we talked about today to separate yourselves from the clientele, it will reap major benefits in less than 60 days. In 30 to 45 days, you're going to start seeing people want to talk with you, want to deal with you because of the brand, because of your communication style, because of that customized virtual experience that you gave them. So, I know a long answer to a very short question. Nothing's guaranteed, but really focusing in and harnessing that aspect of not changing what we did today and going back to our old habits of how we used to sell cars 6 months ago, a year ago, and really holding true to using your CRM, using Automotive Masterminds Market IQ, using those third-party sites to help maximize our communication with our clients.
Awesome. Thank you, Anthony. And one last question. I think we have time for just one more. What are some tips for creating effective communication between our service and sales departments?
Oh gosh, I mean, that just starts with a conversation, right? I think that I would say the majority part of our dealerships have yet to kind of master the service to sales field. Let's make sure that we're talking with the service director first, or the manager if you guys don't have a service director. Let's start at the top. This is something that needs buy-in from the general manager, and then the general sales manager and the service director have to communicate. We have to make sure we understand that we're not stealing any money from service, right? We're not taking their RO budget and their RO dollars to get them into a new car. If you can, if you're a general sales manager or sales manager, or even a salesperson, and I don't want to, overstep my boundaries, let's incentivize them, right? Let's spiff people to get people to come into sales. Hey, your RO is going to be $2,500. I brought Anthony over to discuss possibly a new vehicle for you. The biggest thing I can explain is having a teamwork atmosphere. Make sure that the walls of communication are broken down and that you have seamless lines with down to the service writer, down to the technician, to find out what they're doing out there, right? Like, hey, what kind of work are you doing? Is this a big job? Is this a small job? Is this an easy job? Really understanding the line as a salesperson to what their service getting done may be will then help us understand what we can then prevent with a new car. So, that's a huge question, guys, and ladies out there. Definitely go over, above and beyond to start developing those relationships on the service drive side, whether it's with a service writer, the service director, service manager, technician. The better relationships we have, the stronger we're going to be. And I know some of us on the sales side of, it's almost like we're the redheaded stepchild of service and vice versa. But the more communication you can have with them, the more opportunities you can get, the more TO friendly they are, the easier those deals are going to be. Because there is no better deal than somebody's car that's towed in, that doesn't run, and they have $4,000 worth of repairs on. We got a pretty good chance of getting that to be a car sale if I'm decent at my job. So communicate, buy lunches, smile, go over there and spend some time with them, get to learn their family. They may be different from sales, but they're humans too, and really just try to be as communicative as you can be with that service rep. You will not regret it.
Thank you so much, Anthony. And Damon, I believe that is time for us. If you'd like to wrap up your call before we depart.
Well, yes, but first, thank you all to everyone who participated today. Thank you, Anthony, and also thank you, Carla and Mastermind for facilitating and hosting this webinar for us today. And please utilize their services, their email and contact information here on the screen. And if you can't contact them after this, please reach out to me. Once again, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone, and be safe. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us. Be well.
Thank you so much, Damon.